Hey guys, well this is it. Special pickup video. I said they're all special. Well, there's nothing more special than number 100. And part 4 of the game room tour of John Mahoney's house here in New Brunswick, Canada. One of the absolute most fantastic game rooms that you're ever going to see, game collections. I mean, the stuff that you've seen already is absolutely amazing, and there's still more to come. Not only that, but of course I have the finish of the Xbox pickups that I got from John, and those are just as special. Anyway, guys, Coco, what do you think? 100 pickup videos. Pretty amazing, huh, girl? I bet. At least you're awake this time. You slept through the last video. Stick around. We'll be right back with the rest of the game room tour and the rest of the pickups.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
Of course, I have to have a craft beer for today's video, and it being the 100th video and the 4th part of the big game room tour, it has to be an extra special beer, so I'm going to do one that I've already had here before. One of my absolute favorite craft beers. It's Maple Cream by Picaroons Brewing Company right here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Not only is it one of my favorite beers, it's one of the favorite beers of the Intellivision collector himself, Luke Boudreau. I've sent him a few over the last couple years, let me tell you that. He needs them out west. But in the meantime, let's celebrate 100 with a great maple cream. Just look at the beautiful color of that, and the flavor is nice and subtle maple. A nice mild carbonation. And overall, it's just a great tasting beer. One of my absolute favorites from one of my favorite microbreweries, Picaroons, here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So, what do you think, Coco? Let's get on with the pickups. So for the first pickup, it's going to be a little bit different type of game. I really didn't know how to take this game at first, because what's the point of it, really? I mean, I love the Madden games. Madden Football is one of my favorites since the early 90s, and of course it went right up through to today, frankly. But this one always struck me as sort of funny. It was EA Sports Head Coach with Bill Cowher on the cover. Very interesting game because it just focuses on the coaching aspect of the game, and I think that's a really interesting concept. Now, obviously it wasn't hugely popular because they don't seem to still do it today, but nonetheless, it was great that EA Sports felt that they could try this out. And another one that I see kicking around the thrift shops now and again in kind of crappy condition, but this one still has the hologram right there that came with it, the NFL hologram. And the manual and the game itself are beautiful. So, great addition to the collection. Even though I'm not a huge Steelers fan. Actually, I like the Steelers, but don't tell some people that I give a hard time to, because I am a Patriots fan after all. But anyhow, very happy to add that one to my collection. While we're on to football, this is a series that I've absolutely loved since way back in the day, and that is the NFL Blitz Collection, and this one is Blitz the League, because obviously they didn't have the NFL license for this one. Still by Midway, but overall, just a great fun arcade game. It's like the NBA Jam is to basketball, the NFL Blitz is to football, and at the end of the day, they've always been a huge amount of fun. This is kind of neat because it's got both manuals in there, French and English, still has the registration card even, and also has the hologram, the NFL hologram right there. So, man, fantastic to add a great game like that to my collection. Blitz the League. I'll check out one more game, one more pickup before we jump back to the game room tour and John Mahoney's collection. IndyCar Series 2005 featuring the Indianapolis 500 right there. I love open wheel racing. I love watching it on TV. There's some pretty amazing speeds involved and just amazing tactical racing. Not quite the bang and thrash type racing that you see in other like non-open wheel sports like NASCAR or even Sprint Cup and stuff like that, Sprint Car. So anyway, great condition. Both French and English manuals in there and a beautiful disc. IndyCar Series 2005. Fantastic addition to the collection. It's time to go back to that game room and take another look at some of the amazing things that John Mahoney has in his collection. All right, so I see the handheld system here. What a lot of handhelds here. So the Game Boy
this
is pretty special to you, huh?
This has been my passion over the past, certainly few years. I grew up with the Game Boy Advance. This is about 80% of the Game Boy Advance library, all loose. I've never been a guy for those boxes. But I always had one when I was at school.
Yep.
Every day I took my Game Boy with me. Very under the radar kind of library. There's a lot of kind of under the radar exclusives, like little things you wouldn't even think of. For example, Duke Nukem Advance. It's an exclusive game to the Game Boy Advance. Like it's no different. It's different from all the other versions, and it's fantastic. So there's a lot of kind of under the radar games for it. There's not as much shovelware as you think. Like people think there's a lot, and there is, but it's nowhere near as bad as as the Wii, for example. Prices have seemed to be going up with the popular stuff. I couldn't believe the prices of Pokemon's, for example.
Right.
I've had mine for a long time, obviously, but yeah, I love my Game Boy Advance, is what I grew up with. But
how many are in that library?
Just over 1,000, and if you include the videos as well, that's another 88 or something. Yeah. So it's about
I've heard of those. I've not seen too many. You don't see them very often, do you?
Some of those are incredibly rare. Like there's a Disney Collection Volume 3. I think it was only released in the States. Some of them. And actually the games as well. One of the games, Samurai Deeper Kyo, came out in 2008, so well into the DS's life. Mm-hmm. And I think it was only U.S. distribution for quite a few of them, because I've never seen them in Canada.
That's amazing.
You had a Game Boy?
I had, let's see, I can still remember I bought Mama C a Game Boy original for Christmas back in 1992. And we still have that, the case, and the games for the most part that we got at the time too. So it's stuff like that I had it with. 64-bit had it in his collection there for a while, but I've Shanghaied it back out of his collection back into ours. So.
I'm in a similar spot now where I was with the Super Nintendo. I'm finishing this up, and I'm going to try and go back. I'm going to try and kind of flesh out the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color.
So the Game Boy itself, the original Game Boy, see the console setup here is amazing. Okay, the Advance here, the Advance SPs, the few special editions. God, how many were there? Who knows?
There was a couple dozen.
Yeah, and then your Game Boy Colors.
Yeah, I'm missing one. I'm missing Berry Red.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to get it. It's probably the #1 item on my wish list right now.
There's your original Game Boy. That's the one I have back in my collection too.
Yeah, not as many variants of those. They had the Play It Loud series, which kind of came in those clear boxes. But again, I missed those. I was younger than that, so I grew up with the Game Boy Advance in color. But maybe someday I'll kind of fill in those boxes.
And then we got how many were in the actual Game Boy?
I think there's roughly. I think there's almost enough to fill the tray. So I think there's about 600 in Game Boy and roughly 400 to 600 in Game Boy Color as well. Right on. I have a couple of the heavies too for that. I do have Shantae. And they made actually a couple Wendy Which Ways, also fantastic for Game Boy Color.
I've seen those before. I've seen those online.
Fantastic.
I really can't wait to go back to visit John and get another look at all the amazing things he has there. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There's no other way to put it. Anyway, let's get back to some of the games that I picked up from him while I was up there for my Xbox collection. And the next one is another racing game. I don't know how to pronounce this. Zagra Extreme G Racing Association. XGRA, the Extreme G Racing Association. And it's a futuristic type of racing sim where there's also battling and racing together. It's really Acclaim, going to tell you right there that it's more arcadey than it is simulation sports. It's not a simulation of any stretch of the imagination. It's in a fictitious sort of futuristic realm where you battle and you race all at the same time. And you know what? That's a lot of fun. I love games like that. And this particular one, look at the condition of that manual. It is beautiful. Same with the disc. So very happy to have that one in my collection right there. And the next game is Robotech Battle Cry. It's kind of like a mech game, except for you're not really inside of a mech controlling it. You're more or less, it's almost like a robotic combat simulator, it seems. And very interesting. I don't know a whole lot about this. It's a very simple looking game. Like the cover and the back is very simple. It says, devastated by the Robotech War, Earth struggles to fight off the remaining alien Zentradi invaders. As a transformable Veritech fighter pilot, you must engage the enemy on land in Battleoid mode, and aerial dogfights in Guardian mode, and in outer space battles in fighter mode. Change into a warrior, change into a hero, change or die. So it's like a Transformer type game where you can fly, you can be a robot, infantry battler, or you can fly out into outer space and be a fighter pilot out there. So kind of interesting. Anyway, we'll have to check it out. Robotech Battle Cry by TDK. Next up is another one of these games that's along the lines, to me, of a skateboarding game, a BMX bicycling game, a snowboarding game, and in this case, it's Trans World Surf, which is a surfing game. Very similar aspects of it. You're trying to shoot the, I don't even know what you call it, killer waves, ultimate surf action, insane tricks, Trans World Surf. An authentic look and feel and pick up and play controls, which would be very important for a game like this. But just really a different environment to do the same type of game. But there's nothing wrong with that because those games are a lot of fun to play. So I'm really not aware off the top of my head of any other surfing games that I can think of. So really happy to have this game in my collection and can't wait to try it out. Trans World Surf. There have been a few games of this genre so far in my collection, but this one is Rapala Pro Fishing. Fishing games. Some of them are a lot of fun, some of them are kind of flat. I'll have to try this one out, but the graphics sure do look good, I'll tell you that. And by Activision, so you know that it had a budget that was decent anyway, to say the least. Bass, pike, walleye, salmon, catfish, muskie, trout, and many, many more. 20 tournaments for the hottest fishing action found anywhere. So, I don't know. You know what?
What?
It could be kind of relaxing just to sit back and play a fishing game like this. Could be a lot of fun. So, I'm looking forward to it. Rapala Pro Fishing by Activision. So, let's go back to John's collection and take another look. And now, here's a system that is sort of notorious and doesn't have a huge library, but they're all right here.
Yeah, they're all there. 14 games. Jack Bros, of course, is the one everybody wants.
Right down here.
They're right there. Again, I collected this when it wasn't really expensive. I got all those when 2010 to 2013, 14 in there. And geez, I've actually had a couple Jack Bros as well. I bought a few like Virtual Boy collections over the years, and I just kind of pieced together the best ones. And I can't. Jack Bros now is worth more than what I paid for all of it. Probably.
Wow, that's amazing. Fantastic. Now, these are special too.
Yes, they are.
Let's talk about those for a second.
So basically, way back in the 80s and 90s, if you had a problem with your Nintendo system, you couldn't go online to fix it or anything. Yeah. You'd have a semi-local technician that would repair the hardware, and these would be their reference books. So the technician would have a book dedicated to the technical details of the NES, the Super Nintendo, Game Boy. This is just a general workmanship book.
Gotcha.
These are authentic. They're the actual had by a technician in Nova Scotia. Kind of a chain of events led me to get them.
Led you to get them. Yeah. Now what happened is,
I've considered trades for them over the years, but now that I've decided I truly want to focus on Nintendo stuff, this is a
very unique items for any collection.
I've decided these are a forever home.
Yeah. And the thing that's amazing, this is a tech manual for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which doesn't look like an incredibly complex system.
It is.
But there's a thick book.
There's a lot of stuff in there because every accessory had its own little quirks, right?
Sure,
that could go wrong. So there's a chapter in there on the satellite and the zapper and going on.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
One thing that I did find interesting was in the Super Nintendo book.
Yeah.
The technician was probably at some kind of seminar or something, and they talked about the Super Nintendo CD, which obviously never came out.
No, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen the prototype. There's prototypes.
Yeah, the Sony PlayStation thing. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is cool.
So I assume you probably didn't have a lot of experience with DS?
I didn't. We did have them, of course. DS was the time when my kids were growing up, so I bought quite a few DS in my day, let me tell you. And a lot of them are still around, too. And quite a few of the games. And of course, you see DS right now. I find you see a lot of them in yard sales and such, too.
I think this is a good time to buy DS games, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot going for it. There's a lot of, again, under-the-radar exclusives. A lot of good RPGs on the system as well. This isn't anywhere close to the full library. This is maybe 25% to a third.
Huge library.
Huge library. But it's cartridges. I really think there's going to be DS consoleizers come out in the near future that'll let you play the games on the TV, which is a big thing for me. I much prefer playing on a TV. So it's kind of been a background project for me. I've tried to pick away at some of the better titles over the past few years, and I think it'll definitely be something I'll try and push pretty hard.
So would you say that this is your number one right now? This in advance, maybe?
Yeah, definitely advanced.
Your focus, I guess.
Yeah, I'm done all the home consoles really, generally speaking. So Oh really?
Oh, Laszlo.
Yeah, so I want to push through the Game Boy platforms and get the console boxes I'm missing, and then it'll definitely be DS.
So, would you say the good strategy is to go for the top games, the most expensive games in this library first. I know that I've tried to do that with the Xbox. When I started, I said, I'm going to hit the heavy hitters first. That way, I'll be able to afford what I want to do later on, or at least be more economical.
Yeah, you gotta just kind of hunt around for at least semi-deals, you know? If you can find them at retail minus 10%, retail minus 20%, you know, that's always good. And of course, look for your bundles. That's know, if you find a bundle with a system and a dozen games, if it's got one game in there you really want, buy the bundle and then try and trade the games that you already have.
And I think there's still lots of those out there.
For DS.
That's the thing. Yeah, these things are definitely are.
And again, a lot of Atlas games, a lot of look into the library because there's actually quite a few quality games no matter what genre you're really into.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? The whole thing. I mean, the whole layout that he's done. It's really phenomenal what he's done with his collection. Anyway, next game up in the pickups that I got from him. We all know Carmen Sandiego, and for the Xbox, it's Carmen Sandiego: The Secret of the Stolen Drums. What is it by BAM Entertainment, which I'm not all that familiar with. I think I have seen it before, though. But basically, this seems to be a one-player game. We all know what Carmen Sandiego was like, Where in the World or Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. And this is sort of a game for a younger audience, I think. But I always enjoy playing the games, even as an older age, because they are well-made games and fun games to play. But and in any case, this is sort of middle of the road as well. It's not all that easy to find, and it's not all that inexpensive, even though it's certainly not a super expensive game. So, really happy to try this one out, because the Carmen Sandiego name is just a really excellent property in the world of video games. It's just such a great educational, historical series. So, very happy to add Carmen Sandiego to my Xbox collection. Next up is a series that we're very familiar with, Turok Evolution by Acclaim. Again, Acclaim are known for their shooters, and this is it a first-person shooter? It is a first-person shooter where you're battling dinosaurs. And they've never been really top-rated games, but they've still always been good middle-road shooters and just a lot of fun arcade-style games to play. That really is Acclaim right in a nutshell there. But in any case, this is fantastic condition because it's one that you see sometimes that isn't all that great. Oh, where are you going, Coco? You getting out? Oh, well, you don't see this very often, do you? You're getting excited, aren't you? Anyway, Turok Evolution, fantastic game to have in the collection. All right, Coco's settled back into the basket for just a couple more minutes here. Oh, lounge right back. Where'd you have to go, huh? You want a treat? I'll get you a treat in a few minutes. How's that sound, huh? That's what you need more treats, don't you? Anyway, guys, the next pickup I have is Stake Fortune Fighters 4-player action. It's a fighting game that you can choose from 8 different fighters, and I really don't know much about this game. I had not heard of it at all before seeing it on the Xbox. It is an Xbox exclusive, but it just seems to be a fighting game where you can run tournaments and play different types. Let's see. Choose from 8 deadly fighters, each with their own unique fighting style. Pound your opponents into submission with magical attacks and super anger power. Take on up to 3 other players and split screen. So it really is kind of neat. I don't know. It by Metro 3D, which I haven't heard of either. So I haven't seen this be a real long-lived franchise. Maybe it's an absolutely great game, but in the meantime, it's got great art on the box, and very happy to have it in my collection. Stake Fortune Fighters. Now, the next series, unlike Stake, is one that we all know about, and that is Final Fight. And this one by Capcom, Final Fight Streetwise. This is the Xbox version of the smash hit Final Fight on their system, and the graphics are fantastic in it. Of course, we all remember the classic game on the SNES or the Sega CD, the various versions of Final Fight that were available, even Mighty Final Fight, which I think was on the NES. The arcade one, of course, was the real classic. That game along the lines of your Streets of Rage or those type of fighting adventure games, I used to love those games. Really had a lot of fun with them. And I can't wait to try this one out. Not all that easy to find, not super expensive, but not at all cheap either. Final Fight Streetwise by Capcom. I'm so happy to add that franchise into my collection. Well, guys, it's time to go back for the last look at John's collection. What a phenomenal game room tour. He had so much there to look at, I just couldn't get over it, frankly. He's been working on this collection for years and years, and it's just amazing what he's done with it. I have one more big pickup to show you, but before I get there, let's go back and take a last look at what John has in the collection. Well, John, just amazing all the stuff you have here. It's just, I don't know, it's the best collection I've ever seen, I'm going to say. So happy that you would show this to us and share it with us. So many great games here. Man, I just don't know what to say. Kind of speechless, to tell you the truth.
Well, thanks for, coming, looking around, sharing stories. Hopefully we'll get a formal kind of game room tour sometime done. And I got a lot of little work to get done. I'd like to print out some more of the artwork. I've been more into that kind of thing lately. Presentations, everything. I like some lighting.
Well, I tell you, it's phenomenal. Just the way the start. This is what you consider to be a start. I think about the mess that I have all the time.
Thank you.
It's really impressive. Anyway, guys, I'm Papa Pete. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today. Maybe we'll come back and visit John again someday, or even Tyler, who's over there in the corner, right? Anyway, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Before I go any further, I want to say thank you so much to John for giving me the game room tour and for allowing me to share it with you today. The things that I saw in that collection that I've been able to share with you today are things that I frankly had never seen in person before. Where else are you going to see a copy of Magical Chase? I'd never seen one before in person. I've seen it on YouTube and such, but still, I mean, holy cow, it's just phenomenal. And the Saturn games, Panzer Dragoon Saga, complete SNES, complete N64, all those NES games, I mean, a lot of them I had never actually seen face-to-face before. So I just want to say one more time before we go any further to my absolute last pickup here. Thank you, John, for everything, for the tour, for the hospitality, and for selling me these games to add to my collection, because, man, I tell you, I'm so happy to have them. So without further ado, let's look at the very last item that I picked up from John Mahoney. And that is probably the holy grail for the Xbox, I would say. It's a copy of Steel Battalion. Absolutely the most wanted game in the system. But hold it a second. If you've watched any of my videos before, you remember that I got this cartridge right here, or this disc, down at Too Many Games several years ago. So I didn't only get the Steel Battalion disc by Capcom, I have got the entire set right here. I don't want to spill my beer. Look at that. The entire controller, the whole thing is there. I'll take it apart. I'm going to set it up, take some pictures of it to put here in the video. Probably blocked right off my mic. Can't even hear me anymore. But this is the Holy Grail, which I really didn't know that I'd ever have for my collection. Phenomenal. And everything I've heard about this version of the game is that it's so much fun to play. The original Steel Battalion is top dog. They didn't have a sequel, and it wasn't quite as highly rated. I don't have that one yet, but you can bet your boots I'm going to get it as soon as I possibly can. But in the meantime, I can't wait to set this up. I'm going to figure out a way to stream it, and we're going to play a little bit of Steel Battalion with the full controller on that television right there, and I can't wait to share that with you. Anyway, once again, holy cow, crazy. Thank you so much, John. It is just a phenomenal addition to my collection. What do you think, Coco? Something else, isn't it? Well, listen, guys, I gotta say one last time, thank you to John Mahoney for the game room tour and for the great additions to my Xbox collection. It almost seems like it's pretty real now as I approach 700 games. I'm right there below 700 that I'm going to be able to complete this entire collection of the Xbox library. Anyway, one last thing to all my viewers, though. Thank you not only for joining me through this 4-part video while I described this pickup, but frankly, it's my 100th pickup video. And for any of you who've watched any of my videos, thank you so much for sharing the journey as I share with you my love of picking up video games. Anyway, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. I gotta say that every time, don't I? And we'll see you at pickup video number 101. You take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Pete, Papa having grown up.
You're watching Papa Pete, the old guy gamer.
What the hell?